which of the following is a function? So you are given absolute values here. But before that, let's try to recall that a function can be 1 to 1, 1 to 1. It could be many to 1, but it is not 1 to many. So if you are given a set of ordered pairs, for example, 0, 2, and then 0, 1, remember this is not a function. Why? Because the x value is being repeated. And if you're given a graph, always remember that a graph is not a function if it will fail the vertical line test. So what is a vertical line test? You just drop a vertical line and see how many intersections the line and the graph will have. If the intersection is more than 1, the graph is not a function. So let's do letter A. Remember, when you are dealing with absolute value, we need to consider as well the negative and positive values, right? So this is x plus y equals 1, and then x plus y equals negative 1. If you're going to solve for x will be 1 minus y, and then the other one is x equals negative 1 minus y. So remember, again, x is repeated. If we have an x, it will produce 1 minus y. If we have an x, it will produce negative 1 minus y. So letter A is not a function. What about letter B? Letter B, this can be written as x is equal to, we have 1 minus y. Then the other one is x equals negative 1 minus y. So the same thing, we have two values of x. We have the same values of x for 1 minus y and then negative 1 plus y. We have the same values, so x is repeated. That is not our answer. Letter C as well, the same thing, x value will be repeated. So the answer is letter D. So why letter D? Because this can be rewritten as y equals 1 minus x or y equals negative of 1 minus x. So this will give you 1 y equals 1 minus x, and then y equals negative 1 plus x. So again, x here is not repeated. The x value is not repeated. Every unique value of x, it will give you a different value of y. So letter D will be our answer. Number 153. If x, y, and z are integers, where x is less than y is less than 0, and 0 is less than z, which of the following is true? Now, to answer this one, it's always better to have numbers. So I know that 0 is less than z, so I will write 1. This is negative 1, and this is negative 2. And then I'm going to test, what is x plus y? X plus y is negative 3. And then x plus z is negative 1. And then y plus z, that is 0. Is this correct? Is the order correct? Yes. So this will be my answer. This is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. Why? Let me show you. X plus z, that is negative 1, right? And then x plus y is negative 3. Does it make sense? Look at your number line. Negative 1 is less than negative 3. That's not true. What about C? Why is it wrong? Y plus z is 0. And then x plus y again is negative 3. Is 0 less than negative 3? Absolutely not. What about D? Y plus z, that is again 0. X plus z, that is negative 1. Again, it doesn't make sense. That is why our answer is letter A. 154. If x and y are both negative integers, which of the following is not possible? So always remember, when you multiply both negative integers, the answer is positive. For example, negative 2 times negative 4, this is 8. So look at letter D. It says here the product of these two negative numbers is less than 0, which is not possible because again, it will always give you a positive number. So D is your answer. 155 in the figure triangle ABC is a right triangle. What is the value of X? So if you know your Pythagorean triple, you can actually easily identify that this will be 12, 5, and 13. Why? If you're going to look at the given, A and B are not possible values because if X is 4 or 5, this becomes negative, which is not possible, right? Measurements are always positive. So hindi pwede yung ating 4 and 5. So automatic 4 and 5 will be eliminated. We are left with 12 and 13. And again, if you are familiar with your Pythagorean triple, we have 5, 12, 13 as one of the Pythagorean triple, right? It will form a right triangle. Or if you want to solve this one using the Pythagorean theorem, you could say this is squared, right? Squared, and then this is squared, squared. So you're gonna have x squared plus 2x plus 1. This is equal to, this is x squared minus 14x plus 49 plus 49 and then plus x squared. Combine like terms, you're gonna get x squared. This become x squared minus 16x and then minus a plus 48. And then we factor out 48. Common factor will be 12 and 4. So you will get x minus 12 and then x minus 4. So x will be 12, x will be 4. But then again, we said earlier 4 is not possible because it will make it negative. So 12 is your answer. 156. A mother baked a cake. She gave 1/3 of it to her husband, 1/4 to her son, and 2/5 of the remaining to her daughter. What part of the cake was left? So remember, the entire cake is 1. 1 minus the sum of all the fractions there. That's 1/3 plus 1/4 plus 2/5. If we're going to add this together, 1/4, 1/3, 2/5, the LCD will be 60, right? So this becomes 60. And then 60 divided by 3 is 20 times 1, that's 20. Plus 60 divided by 4 is 15 times 1, that's 15. 60 divided by 5, that is 12 times 2, that is 24. So this gives you 1 minus 59 over 60. So the answer will be, remember 1 can be rewritten as 60 over 60, right? So meron kang 1 over 60, which is letter C in the choices. Let's do number 157. If log of x base b is equal to y correspond to b raised to y equals x, then the value of log of 8 base 4 is equal to what? So remember, logs equals exponents always. So log 8 of base 4, this is equal to, in exponential form, this will give you 4 raised to x equals 8. So we're gonna simplify this, make the bases the same. So we will get 2 raised to 2 and then raised to x equals 2 cubed. And then this becomes 2 raised to 2x equals 2 cubed. Since the base are the same, equate the exponents to x equals 3 and then solve for x equals 3 halves. That is letter A in the choices. 158, find the reciprocal of, I think there's a typo here. We're gonna write A. So remember, when you do the reciprocal, example, you have 1/2, you just interchange the denominator and numerator. So 2 will go up, 1 will go down. So this becomes 2 over 1 or simply 2. Reciprocal of 3, this is 1/3, and so on and so forth. So this one, we have A plus 1 over B. What is the reciprocal? First, we need to get our LCD, which is just B. So over B, everything. And then B divided by 1 is B times A, that's AB. And then plus 1. And then get the reciprocal of this one, we're gonna get B over AB plus 1, which is letter A in the choices, right? Number 159. Simplify the expression. Since the base are the same, always remember when you're multiplying exponents with the same base, you just add the exponents. So you're gonna get 6x plus 1 plus x minus 1. So this becomes 6x plus x 2x. 1 minus 1, 0. So you're gonna get x raised to 2x. That is letter D. 160. Given the parallelogram, find the measure of angle Z in terms of x and y. So this is parallel, and parallel. Now, if we're going to look at this triangle, focus on this triangle. Before that, this and this are congruent, right? Because again, they are alternate interior angles of your, what do you call this, transversal. And this is the exterior angle. Remember, in theory, the measurement of this one is the sum of the remote interior angle. So y is actually equal to x plus z. So we are going to solve for z. This becomes y minus x equals z. That is letter C, right? Letter C. 161. How many times does a line pass through a parabola? So if you have a parabola, example, this parabola, how many times does a line pass through a parabola? Is it exactly once, twice, at least once, at most once, at most twice? So remember, always be careful with the wordings here. When you say exactly, it's like equals to. It's not 1, it's not 0, it's 2. Remember, the line is not specified, so we can draw your line here. So when you say exactly 2, this will fail the test. When you say at least 1, this also fail the test, right? At least 1. At most once, this also fail, no? The test. When you say at most twice, when you say at most twice, you could have it this way, you could have it this way, or you can have it that way. Right? Up to 2 only. So letter D will be our answer. Follow for more.